They told you your hands were tools, to touch, to build, to grab. But they didn't tell you this. Your hands are antennas. They transmit and receive frequencies that shape reality itself. Every gesture you make sends a signal. Every touch you give alters energy. And every moment you forget this truth, your unconscious movements begin programming the field around you. This is not metaphor. It's physics, hidden beneath ancient symbolism. And once you understand it, you'll realize why the ancients treated their hands as sacred, and why using them without awareness can be dangerous. Look at your palms. You might see skin, lines, fingerprints, but to the ancients, this was a living map. Every ridge, every spiral, was an energetic signature, a pattern through which consciousness expresses itself. Science now agrees that your hands emit measurable electromagnetic fields. When you place them close together, sensitive instruments detect subtle waves of light, biophotons communicating between cells, creating interference patterns in space. In other words, your body is constantly broadcasting, and your hands are its amplifiers. But here's where it gets strange. In modern life, your hands are hijacked. They scroll, type, swipe, and tap more than they touch, heal, or create. We've replaced sacred gestures with mechanical ones, feeding a digital field instead of the living one around us. Every scroll, every click, is a mic. You're not just consuming, you're transmitting. And if you don't know what you're sending, the field decides for you. That's why Thoth warned, "He who moves his hands without mind moves the world in madness." Let's strip this down. Everything that exists, your body, your thoughts, the phone in your hand, is vibration. Atoms are 99.999% empty space, filled not with matter, but movement. You're not solid, you're rhythmic. And that rhythm is modulated by emotion, intention, and focus. Now here's the key. Your hands are where consciousness meets form. They're the exit point of the electrical network running through your nervous system. Your heart sends electromagnetic waves measurable several feet from your chest. Those waves flow into your palms, concentrated vortices of living current. That's why, when someone's upset, you can feel it in their handshake. It's why you instinctively reach out when someone's in pain. You're transferring coded information, energy, in motion. Emotion through subtle fields that modern instruments are only beginning to record. Ancient civilizations not only knew this, they designed entire practices around it. Egyptian priests used symbolic hand positions to direct Heka, the vibrational essence of creation. In Vedic India, mudras channeled prana, the life force through the bodies, circuits like switches in a cosmic machine. Even early Christians depicted saints and Christ with specific hand gestures, not for style, but transmission. Hands were sacred because they shaped invisible architecture, the vibrational template from which physical reality emerges. So when Thoth said, "The hand is the servant of the mind and the shaper of the field," he meant it literally. And this is where the danger lies, because whatever you think, you project. Imagine standing in an Egyptian temple. Hieroglyphs cover the walls, gods and humans depicted with deliberate hand poses. Fingers extended, palms open, circles drawn in the air. They weren't posing for art, they were recording physics, the language of energy. Thoth, Hermes, and the initiates of old understood that the universe responds to vibration, and that vibration responds to intention expressed through form. Every movement, every gesture, every ritual was a communication with the unseen. When Egyptian priests healed, they didn't simply pray, they projected, hands hovering above the patient, channeling the divine current through focused will. The same principle Reiki later rediscovered. In India, yogis sat in stillness for hours, fingers arranged in geometric precision. Chin, mudra for awareness, abhaya for fearlessness, anjali for devotion. These weren't symbolic. They altered bioelectric flow, neurons, fascia, magnetic fields, all aligned by deliberate motion. Even indigenous shamans used hand drums, rattles, and rhythmic gestures, not as art, but as synchronization tools. They were literally entraining the energy field of the group, merging minds into coherent resonance. Today, modern science peeks at this truth again. Studies from the HeartMath Institute show the human heart emits an electromagnetic field measurable up to 10 feet away. Your emotions modulate that field, like a radio signal. When you extend your hands, you expand its reach. In other words, the more emotionally charged you are, the more powerful your projection becomes. That's why anger can fill a room, why love can silence chaos, and why unconscious gestures, like clenching fists, aggressive pointing, or scrolling rage posts, transmit destructive frequencies into the collective field. Your hands are not passive, they are portals, and every day through them, you participate in shaping the vibrational weather of the planet. Let's bridge mysticism with modern data. In quantum biology, scientists discovered that every living cell communicates via biophotons, faint pulses of light. These photons form coherent fields that allow instant coordination across billions of cells, like a biological Wi-Fi network. Your nervous system operates on the same principle. Electrical impulses from your brain travel down your spine, radiating outward through your limbs. Your palms are the antennas rich in nerve endings, constantly receiving and transmitting subtle electromagnetic information. Now, imagine what happens when emotion enters the mix. Emotions are biochemical energy states. Fear compresses your field. You contract, close your palms, shrink your output. Love expands, palms open, heart lifts, field coherence increases. This is measurable. Devices like SQUID, magnetometers, and Kirlian cameras have recorded these changes. But the ancients didn't need machines, they felt it. When a healer moves their hands over someone's body, they're tuning the field, similar to adjusting radio frequencies until static becomes sound. That's why energy healing isn't woo, it's entrainment, wave synchronization. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You're doing it constantly. Whether you meditate or not, your energy is shaping and being shaped. When you curse someone in anger, you're projecting a field distortion. When you pray sincerely for someone's well-being, their measurable physiology can change. Your hands are the conductors of this unseen orchestra. So when Thoth cautioned, the untrained hand builds temples of chaos, he was warning of unconscious energy projection, the kind that feeds collective disharmony. Because the field doesn't care about your excuses, it only responds to your vibration. This power isn't all light and love. When you learn that your hands can shape energy, ego loves to intervene. You start to think you can manifest anything, bending others or outcomes to your will. But Thoth's teachings were clear. Control without purity collapses the field. Here's why. The field amplifies whatever you truly are, not what you pretend to be. If your heart's heavy with greed or resentment, every gesture becomes pollution, psychic static that ripples outward. That's why ancient adepts trained in silence, fasting, and moral discipline before learning energetic practices. Because without internal coherence, external influence turns toxic. Think about it. The same hand that can bless can also curse. The same energy that heals can harm through projection. Modern example. Ever notice how scrolling social media can leave you drained? That's not just information fatigue. It's energetic residue. Millions of hands broadcasting fear, outrage, and envy into the digital ether. You absorb it with every swipe. Now imagine millions of humans unconsciously projecting distorted vibrations every second through gestures, touch, and emotion. That's the collective field we all swim in. The danger isn't the power itself, it's ignorance. Unawareness turns creators into conductors of chaos. That's why Thoth said, the unguarded gesture binds the soul to its consequence. Energy follows attention, and your hands are the carriers of that attention into the world. So before you try to use this power, understand, you already are. Every moment. The real mastery lies in using it consciously. Let's ground this ancient principle into modern life. First, awareness. Watch your hands for one day. Notice how they move when you're stressed versus calm, how they curl when you're anxious, or open when you're at peace. That's your field changing shape in real time. Second, intention. Before you reach for your phone, touch your food, or greet someone, pause. Infuse that gesture with awareness. Imagine light flowing from your palms, not fantasy, but focus. You're encoding energy with consciousness. Third, ritual. Every culture has sacred hand positions because they rewire your nervous system. Try this. Rub your palms together until they warm. Separate them slightly. Feel that subtle pressure. That's your field. Breathe slowly and focus between them. You'll sense it pulsing. That's not imagination. It's bioelectric feedback. You can use it for healing, creativity, even clarity. When you eat, bless your food with your hands. When you work, treat each keystroke as a transmission. When you rest your palms over your heart, you're literally recharging your coherence. Your hands can create chaos or harmony. It's your choice which frequency you broadcast. As Thoth said, he who moves with awareness becomes the architect of heaven. The ancient truth is simple. Where your hands go, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, your life follows. You were never powerless. Your hands have always been sacred instruments, the meeting point between infinite consciousness and finite form. Every gesture writes a code into the fabric of existence. Every touch sends ripples through creation. So use them with care. Heal with them, bless with them, create beauty with them. Because one day you'll realize these hands were never just yours. They were the universe's way of shaping itself. And when you finally see that, you'll stop moving unconsciously. Every motion will become prayer. Every touch, a transmission of light. That is the secret Thoth tried to preserve through time. The power was never hidden. It was simply waiting for you to remember it. In the palms of your own hands.